Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we have got a Tragedy Tales video of 5 clips for horror. This is number 3. We got a whole bunch of these to do in our series, so we got a bunch more to do. We're gonna get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment your thing down below. This is the ultimate betrayal clips for horror number 3. Let's go.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. When you get your phone out and press that record button, you never truly know what you're going to capture. I'm Ryan from
Professionalism. My guess this will not be monetary, so...
Tragedy Tales, and in this video, yet again, I've scoured the internet and searched high and low for yet more bone-chilling clips that will make you thankful you're alive. So without further ado, here are 5 clips captured before horror. This footage begins in Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, on the 2nd of January 2023. It was bright and sunny in Australia that day when a group of tourists boarded a helicopter for a scenic tour of SeaWorld and the Gold Coast. Now they were eager to catch a glimpse of the majestic marine animals from the air. The helicopter rose up into the sky and the passengers marvelled at the stunning views. They felt the rush of the wind in their hair and the excitement of seeing the beautiful sights from high above. Until approximately 1:58 PM. This video was recorded and it shows the tourists enjoying their helicopter ride when all of a sudden the pilot stops looking forward. One of the tourists taps the pilot on the shoulder, but by then it's too late. Just a second later, the helicopter in the video collided with another helicopter also taking off for a tour from SeaWorld. The departing helicopter's main rotor blades and gearbox separated, causing the helicopter to lose control and crash into the sandbar. Luckily, the people in the footage just about survived. Their helicopter...
Let me give anyone on a helicopter... I've never been on a helicopter. Let me give you this little bit of advice. Do not ever make the driver look at you or take his eye off forward. And yell at him if he does, because he has to be paying attention to what the fuck's going on from him, because this shit might happen. You don't have, if you're a helicopter pilot, don't take the fucking eyes off the goddamn, don't take your eyes off the fucking area that you're flying. Don't look and communicate with people, don't do it.
Helicopter pilot stabilized the craft.
You can answer questions, but don't take your fucking eyes off of in front of you.
Before performing an emergency landing on the same sandbar, heavily damaging it. Many members of the public watched in utter shock as the whole thing unfolded in front of them, with beachgoers, boaters, and nearby police attending the scene to provide first aid and free injured passengers from the helicopter. A day out soon turned into a nightmare as nurses on the beach stepped in to provide CPR. Some sustained severe injuries. By the end of the day, 4 people had lost their lives. A 40-year-old pilot, a 36-year-old woman, and a British couple aged 65 and 57. Another 6 received serious injuries and were rushed to hospital. While they can't be sure exactly what caused the crash yet, they did find that the pilot that was currently in the air did not recall that the helicopter on the ground made a standard taxiing call prior to taking off. However, this doesn't rule out that he didn't make the call, just that it wasn't received.
The guy who's there is going to try to make sense of why he crashed into him, right? So he's going to be like, yeah, it was their fault. They didn't make the call, even if they did. You're not paying attention, bro.
Now this footage begins in June of 2018 in Turkey. It was a beautiful sunny day when a 40-year-old man named Hakan Aysal decided to take a hike with his 32-year-old wife, Semra, along the Butterfly Valley in Mulga, Turkey. The pair were on holiday in Turkey, and while Semra was 7 months pregnant, They were excited to capture the stunning views and take some selfies to document their day. As they were climbing up, several members of the public noticed that they were acting strange. A passerby got out their camera to record, suspecting that one of them would fall off the cliff. Captured on video, you can see as they walked hand in hand, marvelling at the Mediterranean. They lingered here until ISIL suddenly stopped and motioned for Semra to come over to a particularly picturesque spot. Semra, who was heavily pregnant and scared of heights, was hesitant at first, but ISIL insisted that they take the selfie together, taking this very selfie on the cliff's edge. Suspiciously, they sat on top of this cliff for 3 hours, until the person recording finally gave up and moved on. However, as soon as they were alone, ISIL is accused of pushing Semra off the cliff, sending her tumbling 1,000 feet to her death. When a man passed by, ISIL exclaimed that his wife had just fallen off the cliff. As people frantically started looking for her, ISIL did not attempt to assist, appearing vacant and unperturbed by the whole ordeal. Even when the family went to collect her body, ISIL remained in the car and showed no emotions. Soon after Semra's death, ISIL cashed out the £40,000 life insurance policy that he'd taken out prior to going on holiday. However, the payout was stopped when it was revealed that the police had started their investigation. Her family were also shocked to discover that ISIL had taken out numerous loans in his wife's name. By looking at the evidence, it looked like he had planned this all along.
Yeah.
He had lured innocent Semra.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He planned it fully. He brought her to the cliff. He kept her there until they stopped. Until everyone was gone, so he could push her off. Yeah. No. You did that on. You did that on purpose. You have a life insurance policy you happened to do before this vacation that she happens to die at. Yeah. No. You did that on purpose.
To this remote spot to kill her and her unborn child. Luckily, this worrying footage was captured and reported to the police. Despite pleading his innocence, ISIL was soon arrested and sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum sentence of 30 years. This tragic footage takes place on February the 28th, 2023, in the southern area of Tempe Valley of Greece. At 7:22, passenger train Intercity 62 departed from Athens to Thessaloniki. Throughout this journey, the train lines were doubled, each for one traffic flow, in and out. At approximately 9 minutes past 11, Intercity 62 left Larissa station, carrying 340 passengers and 12 staff, a total of 352. As the train departed from Larissa, the station master, for an unknown reason, became confused. He did not use the 188A key to restore the train to the correct track. For 25 kilometers and almost 12 minutes, the passenger train Intercity 62 continued on a downhill trajectory, heading right towards a freight train, also travelling on that same downhill track. Until approximately 11.
Did the train guy who got confused and not switched to the right track, did he get in shit? Because I think he should. I don't know how you fuck this up. Because you just caused you're gonna cause a collision because of your own stupidity not being able to do the thing you're supposed to do. Like your one job and you somehow fucked it up.
21. With both trains travelling at more than 100 miles an hour, the two collided. All captured on this night CCTV. As they collided, the first 4 passenger cars derailed, and the first exploded into an intense ball of flame, reaching a scorching 1300 degrees Celsius. After numerous 112 calls were made, emergency services rushed to the scene to find pure devastation. Numerous train cars were crumpled beyond recognition, and to make it worse, many of the train carts caught fire soon after the collision. Firefighters and first responders worked around the clock to save as many lives as possible. Passengers who managed to escape the train or were ejected through carriage windows spoke of the chaos and the panic. One victim described the ordeal, saying that she had to make a split-second decision on either being burned alive or jumping and breaking all of my bones. This turned out to be the deadliest rail disaster in Greek history. 57 people lost their lives, with the majority of the dead being just students. 66 injured people were taken to hospital, while 6 were put on life support. The following day, the Greek government declared a 3-day period of mourning, during which all flags were flown at half-mast and celebratory events were postponed. An investigation as to how this happened was soon conducted, and they questioned the 59-year-old station master who was working that day. It was revealed that the station master knowingly directed the IC62 passenger on the wrong track and told them to ignore signals that indicate danger. It was found that the station master made numerous fatal mistakes, and he was the main cause behind this entire tragedy. He was arrested and now faces multiple charges of disrupting transport and putting lives at risk.
Are we sure he didn't plan this? Like he knew that train was coming. You sure he didn't plan this collision in some way? Because he's telling this train just to ignore all signs that danger is happening. Just ignore everything, just trust me and go this way. Like, I almost wonder if he planned this shit.
Aftermath of the disaster, Transport Minister Kostas stepped down from his position, taking responsibility for the crash and admitting his inability to modernise the Greek railway system to the 21st century. In July of 2022, a 27-year-old man from the Isle of Wight named Harry Shimin had the epic idea to go on a guided tour around the Kazakhstan mountains with 2 of his friends. And after a bit of discussion, they thought, why not? And embarked on the adventure. At first, it was all going well. They met up with 7 other members at Kazakhstan and trekked their way up the mountains. As they did, they marvelled at the picturesque scenery. On day 7 out of 10, the day started like any other day. It was the final hard stretch of the journey before turning back. That day, they hiked 1,000 meters to the highest point that they could. Surrounded by the mountains, Harry was way in front, taking it all in, when all of a sudden, he heard a loud, reverberating sound echo in the distance. He and his team knew exactly what this was. As the avalanche raced down the mountain, Harry stands and records as it gets closer and closer and closer, believing that it would peter out way before it would reach him.
Oh yeah, this is what he's wrong.
However, it soon becomes clear that it isn't going to stop. As Harry had just climbed the 1,000 meter to the goal, behind him was a large cliff face. There was nowhere to run. The last words that could be heard were, "Dear God."
Oh God. Oh dear God.
The avalanche soon impacts with Harry and his group, and as the massive wall of snow tumbles over them, they realise that the majority of the landslide had already hit, so the force and the amount of snow was heavily lessened, saving Harry and his group. Amazingly, none of the party were injured, other than one woman who managed to cut her knee down to the bone. After recovering from shock, they promptly made their way back down the mountain, thankful to be alive. That day, Harry stood in the face of death and lived to tell the tale, not something that many of us can say that we've done.
Not in a position I would like to be in to be able to even say I've done that. So I hope to be in a chance where I can say I've faced death and survived.
This crazy footage begins in Nepal on the 15th of February 2023. At 10:33 a.m., Yeti Airlines Flight 691 left for its scheduled flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara in Nepal. It was around a 25-minute journey. Now, Flight 691 was a 15-year-old twin-engine turboprop ATR 72-500. That day, the plane was under command of Senior Captain Kamal KC with Anju Katiwada as co-pilot. They had 21,900 and 6,396 flight hours, respectively. That day, the weather was clear and perfect for flying. Now, the flight was going well, as smooth as you'd expect, until they came into land at the newly built airport in Pokhara. As Flight 691 came into land, something wasn't right. The landing gear opened, but at 311 feet, air traffic control noticed that the aircraft nose was noticeably high. All of a sudden, the engines dropped to zero thrust and the left wing dropped. Within just a second, the plane crashed into the ground. A video filmed from the ground showed the aircraft banking steeply to the left before crashing 65 meters away. This was also all captured from within the aircraft. Now, I will warn you, this footage is not for the faint of heart. A video that was streamed live on Facebook by one of the passengers named Sonu Jasiwal was able to capture moments just before it went down. Now, I don't think I can show all of this footage, but the plane soon takes a nosedive. It then explodes into a ball of flames. It crash landed straight into a gorge on the bank of the Seti Gandaki River. When rescue got there, it was dire. The plane was engulfed in flames, with one half of the fuselage in the gorge. They quickly realized that there were no survivors. 72 people had died. A true tragedy. An investigation into the crash revealed that less than 2 minutes before the crash, Captain Kahadiwada called for the plane's flaps to be extended, saying "flaps 30." However, the flight data recorder at that moment did not record any flap movement. Instead of the flaps opening, the propeller rotation speed of both engines slowly decreased and the torque began dropping to zero, suggesting that one of the pilots may have accidentally moved the power lever instead of the lever controlling the flaps. This caused both engines to feather, meaning that there was no thrust in each of them. To make it worse, it was also found that the pilots failed to follow routine checklists. Just 14 seconds before the crash, Kadiwada handed over control to the much more experienced pilot, Kamal, but by then, it was too late. Some people believe that the root cause was the fact that the pilots had not gotten used to coming in at that angle because it was a new airport, but this we can never be sure. This turned out to be the deadliest aviation accident in Nepalese domestic history. May all of the victims in this crash and this video rest in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.